One of the issues I've been dealing with for this season is trying to get some monetization, some advertising from some of our projects, and some really big advertisers, and to be honest, some big investors I put into my own money are an online gambling, which has its own sort of deals right there that I try to get some advertising for some fantasy football and sports things going on because it's all kind of wrapped into it. Also, something else that's becoming more troubling, although I didn't really see it coming until it really hit me in the face, were prediction markets. The chance to make side bets on just about anything and making anything a legal gambling deal, especially in places where gambling is not even legal. This is something that's come into place to really face to face with my work here for the Conversation Project, because prediction markets are now having issue with the news that are actually being produced by, let's just say, a person in charge who likes to be in charge of money issues. Here's the big deal. An anonymous trader on a prediction market platform called Polymarket reportedly made a $400,000 bet that Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro would be ousted just before the U.S. military actually had an operation that captured him and publicly announced it on a Saturday last week. The payout came from a relatively small initial wager, turning a timely bet into a large profit and prompting renewed attention to these speculative markets. And that's where the problem is. Prediction markets like Polymarket allow traders to buy and sell event contracts tied to real-world outcomes. For example, whether a political leader will leave office by a certain date or how an election may turn out. Contracts trade about from $0 to $1, essentially going forward, so you can trade off there, with a fee being paid to the actual market for the price. Essentially, a yes/no bet can be 50 cents up or down, and they take a chunk of that from everyone who puts money in there. Traders cash out early, basically see how things are working because it's speculative, or if the event actually pays off, get the real detail in a contract rather than traditional gambling. And that's where it is. It's a devaluized contract. It's a veritive that something may happen with a company that doesn't own the rights. It's not a gamble. The timing of this big win, with the bulk of the bets being placed just hours before President Trump actually announced the surprise raid, is what raised the suspicions of potential insider trading. People inside the government in the know, knowing what's happening and putting money down on this event. Critics point to the narrow focus and the precise timing of the account's activity, combined with the secrecy surrounding the U.S.'s operations, as a red flag to show that someone really knew what was happening and put their money down at the right time. Platforms often allow anonymous accounts, which makes it difficult to trace who's putting money down. What trader could actually have some privileged information to track down the bad guys, if you will. Now, in the United States, prediction markets operate under a different regulatory framework than traditional gambling. Henceforth, they are legal pretty much anywhere, as gambling has a lot of specialties going forward, to include you must talk about a gambling hotline just in case you have issues with gambling. Platforms like Polymarket are categorized as selling derivative event contracts. That's what they're called. These fall under Commodity Future Trading Commission's, the CFTC, an oversight rather than any state gambling laws. Their status lets some platforms evade local restrictions, although most of these things actually do live overseas and trade in crypto in the background. It's a way to basically have legalized gambling on side bets on life anywhere you want to, especially here in the States. Also fuels the debate over how much the regulation actually should apply to these things and whether insider trading rules are sufficient or enforceable for things like this as they are for things like actual gambling or trading on the stock market. The Maduro payout has already spurred some legislative proposals, as you may expect. Representative Richie Torres has introduced a bill that would bar government officials from trading or potentially any sensitive political or geopolitical event contracts, any reflecting worries that the public servants would actually make a profit from the knowledge they have on future actions or possible future actions. Some regulated platforms, such as Kashi, enforce insider trading rules, but this is not the case for all of them. All the platforms aren't created equal in this sense. And this incident actually underscores a whole lot of broader problems. Number one is transparency and fairness. If insiders can legally profit before major geopolitical events, markets may actually reward access rather than insight. If you know what's going to happen, then you'll get better returns than if you have sort of a idea or you're a person who just analyzes things. There are gaps in regulatory issues where prediction markets have grown rapidly with basically no oversight, loose if you want to call it that, raising concerns about financial risks to users and legal ambiguity and the public trust. Oh, the public trust. High-profile wins tied to sensitive events may actually erode confidence and integrity the markets if the rules aren't clear and enforced. If something big happens and people are betting big on them and winning big on them, people will believe that, oh, a secret cabal of folks are out there running the world and profiting from it. Of course, they already think that, but here's a market that allows that to actually happen in real time. Unfortunately, as prediction markets are expanding to include political and big events wagers, not just sporting events, but things that are all over the place, the debate will take over the role, legality, and oversight of these markets, and are they likely to basically intensify, or they just be the thing we do? Especially if the payouts intersect with real-world actions that were previously secret, i.e. a secret attack on a nation to extradite a person that paid somebody $400,000 off a bet. Like I said, I'm dealing with this in real time because I don't do online gambling, but I'm thinking about using it because it's basically taking over all of sports. So I need to, play those roles. So I'm going to play big with those guys in my sporting pieces I'm doing here. And prediction markets seems like it works well with the financial markets because all the prediction markets, including Robinhood, which I do have affiliate ads for, do prediction markets, including some sports as well. So I'm torn. Well, not really torn. I know what I'm doing about this, but I am stuck in the middle of it myself because these are the things that my folks are selling and that are making the money for people right now. And I have to figure out whether I'm going to, dance with this devil or sit on the sidelines going forward. But the big deal on this story, and the big deal why it is a big deal, is because somebody put a bet up for $400,000 a few hours before Maduro was pulled and made that bet and is getting paid that money, and we can't trace it. So somebody with a good idea that the DEA or the CIA or the whatever A you want to was going in to cause a coup, basically, made some money off this. That is not a good thing. Your thoughts on this thing, which I say is not a good thing, feel free.